Okay, what we need to do now then is set up a multi-track mix and add these files that we've just made to that, and we'll then export from the multi-track. So if we just go up here and we can just switch over into the multi-track editor. Now we haven't had one set up before, so this is asking for a multi-track session to be set up. So I'll just call this test 001, and I'm going to save it in my little sounds folder here. And it's going to use the same sample rate as the rest of the audio files and the same bit depth, and it's going to be stereo. Okay, so these files over in our file viewer we can just drag into here. So I'm just going to take in these two hits and drop them in there. I can click on this little top bar to move them around. I can also change the length of this file just by dragging. When my cursor turns into this little red square bracket, I can lengthen, or I can shorten this, or I can drag it out as long as it can possibly be. What I can also do is I can just click on this little arrow here, and I can get a volume track so that I can change the overall volume for this particular track 1 here. And what I can do with this is add in little keyframes and then move things around accordingly. So I can fade that in like that, or I can make it louder. Okay, so this is creating an envelope for that particular bit of the sound. So let's just go to add the cheer, and we'll drop that one in just after, about there. And you can see the difference between this mono file and this stereo file. And we will go again at the volume, and that's fine. Let's just turn this down a little bit sooner at the end here, maybe about there. Okay, so let's just jump to the beginning and press play. Okay, so there was a smooth transition between the two clips, which is what we wanted. Okay, you can drag that little playhead through here as well, just to go back over what we've done and scrub through it. You can mute tracks and solo tracks up here, so we can just hear the mono tennis hits. So now we won't hear the cheer, and we can also mute that one. Okay, so we're not hearing the two hits, but we are hearing the cheer. We can play about with the stereo, etc. in this portion as well. What I tend to use though is these separate tracks to add extra playing about with the stereo panning and things like that. Okay, and you can just drop extra little keyframes onto these. So that's pulling that over to the right, that's sending it over to the left. Okay, seeing as that's mono, that's going to make quite a bit of difference. Okay, so once you've finished putting all your clips into your multi-track and you've finished playing about with the volume levels, you might have had a look at some of the other EQs, etc. You'll want to export your file. So we can just go up to File, Export, and Multi-Track Mixdown. And here we want to export the entire session. And so it's going to give it a name. It's called Test 001. It's the Mixdown. I'm going to save that into my little sound folder as well. Okay, there we go. Save. It's going to be an AIFF file, but I can change it to a WAV if I want to. Let's leave it as an AIFF. And it's going to be stereo 44.1 kHz uncompressed. Okay, so now let's have a look back over here in our file viewer. We've got our mix session here, which hasn't been saved, so let's just go and save that. Our little asterisk will disappear, and it's saving these files with it as well. And here is our mixdown. So we'll double click on that and have a look at that in edit view. So you can see it fades in, plays the 2 hits, crossfades over to the cheer, and then finishes. And it's basically just the length of this, from the start of this file to the end of this file. I know the playhead kept on going once it got past here, but it's only going to export up to this point.